What a weekend we've just witnessed with Trials Day at the Cheltenham. We had some good action at Doncaster as well. And of course, the Dublin Racing Festival look forward to this weekend. The picture is becoming a lot clearer ahead of the festival. This is the 9th episode of Road to Cheltenham, and Frankie and Joel alongside me, as always. And Frankie, I'll start with you. What a weekend we've just witnessed.
Proper weekends racing, great fun down at Cheltenham, and I think it was a real crowd that was just looking forward to seeing so much top racing that was there. The only thing I've come out of it, though, that the one stronger opinion is that the English look stuffed.
And bears also go for a poo in the woods, yeah?
But proper stuffed. You know, I'm almost trying to cling on to whatever English hopes that I do have and try and find 3 or 4 that I can be strong on. So at least it doesn't just turn into Willie Mullins in this, Willie Mullins in this, Gordon Elliott in that. But yeah, it was a proper weekend's race. And there were a few surprises, but really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Joel, he's hit the nail on the head, isn't it? Pray for the English.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. I just wrote down money horses and the Irish this weekend. Why are we overcomplicating it? On a Friday when we do the Punter's Guide, make sure you like and subscribe to that, by the way, because, hey, Matt's got the power to move the market. So as soon as you get that, it could be a 20-second thing. 8 races this weekend, all the Irish, and there's a gamble on an Emma Mullins horse. Go for it. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
Yeah, keep it simple. Indeed. Yeah, Joel says like, subscribe, but comment as well. You might not agree with what we say. Get your comments and give us all your thoughts from over the weekend, and we'll talk about those as well. I've done the Punter's Guide, of course, in our Road to Cheltenham series, which is getting ever closer. And say the Dublin Racing Festival this weekend will certainly give us more clues to the festival. But we'll start with the Cotswold chase, shall we? And you mentioned it, Frankie. The English are going to get stuff. Willie Mullins went eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You'll do. We'll send you to the Cotswold. It was Capodanno. I don't even know if Willie Mullins knew he's in the yard. He comes and he wins, and it's like he was his 28th string staying chaser. But no, I jest. He's a Grade 1 winner, but you know that was some of the best that we had to offer in terms of Gold Cup hopes. Really, Royal Pagai. That's right. Gino, sadly, we lost as well, but you know he just turned up as a massive gamble as well on him.
Yeah, big gamble, and he won like it, didn't he? Let's be honest. Was traveling best of all by a long way, coming down to the last, and made it look relatively easy against, like you said, not our top hopes, but they're certainly up there. I mean, Stay Away Faye, we all opposed, and fair enough, the younger horse coming through, but the real whacker was a festival winner last year, and he's won at the track before. That's right, Gino, like you mentioned, we sadly lost, but that's a Hennessy winner over here. Some more, you know, Royal Pagai's ran in the last 3 Gold Cups and has finished second in a King George, won the Betfred chase. Like these are some far better horses. And Capodanno made it look really easy. The only thing I will say, did we miss this? Did we just think he didn't run his true race in Ireland? He was like a length second to Jeriko, and if Jeriko was in that, he would have been odds on. So there is an argument with form there, and Galloping Deschamps was however many lengths clear of those two. So yeah, like you said, did we bother turning up? If Galloping Deschamps stays sound and gets round, what the hell gets near him?
And to add to that, Joel, Capodanno not even entered in the Gold Cup. Willie Mullins has got that many others, but he's in the Ryanair and he's 8-1 from 25s.
You'd never go to the Gold Cup, wouldn't you? You'd enter for Gold Cup supplement, whatever you have to do nowadays. You would do, wouldn't you? It's JP's not short of you, Bob. You might as well have a go. They knew what they had on Saturday, and like I say, the application of money was coming and coming and coming. And you know you'd have to go. You have to have a little go in Gold Cup, would you not? You know, it's
got too much ammo.
I mean, when people say, "Oh, it's a great problem to have," well, it's not really. It's one of your biggest owners. You know, if JP McManus phones you up and says, "I want to have a go in the Gold Cup with Capodanno," you'd have to, wouldn't you? I mean, what would you boys do? Would you stay Ryanair with a better?
Alaho's now obviously not running, so that's Willie Mullins' top hope out for the Ryanair. JP's got enough festival chances. I'd be Ryanair, yeah.
Well, to be fair, I don't know. After the weekend, we'll get on to Jonbon and Jeriko de Reponet. I mean, you know, come on.
Yeah. What next for the Real Whacker and Ahoy Senor, Joel?
I was, first of all, Real Whacker ran a great race, and I thought Sam was going to nick it from the front, and then stayed on again at the end. I don't know, but when it comes to Ahoy Senor, I thought we said this on Friday on the Punters Guide. Well, I did, and I was, I was saying it in jest about, Stephen Mulhern being on replacing Dr. Fox, and I was saying just, trying the younger jock on there. Just it might make a difference. You've seen horses back in the past when the brilliant AP McCoy was on and couldn't get him to win, and you had a jock who would sit there and do nothing and would win, and it was just trying. I thought the horse jumped brilliantly, and was it 4 out? I thought we're really in with a chance here. I'm on at 10s here, we're really in with a chance. Everyone laughed at me. The time is now, the time is right. And then the stirrups broke, didn't they? It wasn't like they just snapped. And I'm Wodhooh won. I want maybe not, but he was running the best race he's run so far, and would give, I think, Lucinda and Scoo a little bit of hope. But do you keep the lad on, or do you give the right back to Dr. Fox?
I'm guessing it'll be about Katie Svaintree for these, though, will it? The real one.
Yeah, 100%. You probably skip Cheltenham. I think, when you go back to Royal Pagaille, everybody knew that Cheltenham's not his track, and unfortunately Haydock was abandoned, so he had to run there and get a run into him. But then he fell. I mean, what's that going to take? We don't know how bad it was. It didn't. To be fair, it looked worse, and that's all right, Gino. But obviously, horse got back up, whereas that's all right, Gino didn't. So sometimes you go in. Cheltenham's not the track. Why are we running? Why are we bothering? But
Real Wacker's frustrating, isn't it? Because Cheltenham is his track.
He stayed on again.
Ahoy Senor for Aintree, Royal Pagaille for Haydock, and then I suppose the Real Whacker next November. Next November. But hey, the owner's good fun, isn't he? He'll probably love a run in the Gold Cup and just go and have the crap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's maybe playing for places though. Hey, something's got to come 5th and 6th behind the Irish. Which leads us on to the champion chase. Frankie, to be fair, you did say about Elixir de Nutz, as we made a joke about on Friday. Didn't expect him to beat Jonbon, though. I mean, that howl of 4 out certainly cost him the race, didn't it? But El Fabiola won't be losing any sleep now.
Certainly won't, no. It was a combination of the two. One horse jumped every fence near perfectly, Elixir de Nutz, and the other jumped a lot of them sloppy, and one of them horrendously, and the last not great when he needed momentum, and that bridged the gap between their ability, didn't it? And we know that Jonbon's got an engine, but he's certainly, like you said, Fabiola certainly won't lose any sleep over it. Tricky one, isn't it? I mean, what is it? I was having a conversation with some lads in the pub after, and they're saying, I don't know, is it back, or what do you think come March? I don't think it was too much of a contest before that race. El Fabiola had what, 10 lengths on Jonbon last year? I think it's a bit of a media swirl to match them two up, and El Fabiola is the better horse, and it's not a ding dong match. El Fabiola's better.
Dogs are barking. She doesn't agree with you, Frankie. She says, no, definitely. I'm all over Jonbon each way. The thing for me is, Joel, I've been worried about Jonbon because I've never seen him jump that sloppily before. And it wasn't just the mistake at the 4th. He wasn't brilliant. Some of the other fences kind of hanging to his left as well. I don't think James Bowen was ever particularly happy. But, I mean, he did really well to stand up. It was an absolute howler, wasn't it? And obviously, that kind of put paid to him in the end.
Yeah, I spoke to a lass called Jodie, who's used to ride out, and she's got an equestrian place in Cheshire, and she's one of my lads' best mates' mums. If that makes any sense. And I texted her beforehand. I was saying, like, oh, Jonbon, good thing here. Even I could, ride to get into frame here. And she said he's quirky. Also, you don't realise how good Nico and Aidan Coleman have been, because it really takes some getting to know and whatever. And I'm looking at it thinking, well, really? I just thought it was like a stick any jock on it and pop round this. And I love James Bowen. There was no problem whatsoever for me there. If he'd not made any of those mistakes, he wins by half the track, hard held, and he probably still would be 5-2, 3-1, and we're still getting him beat at Cheltenham. There was no criticism for James Bowen, but the only criticism I think probably would have been from Hendo would be when he made that mistake. Is Hendo not like the sort of person who would say you should have pulled it? We'll save him for another day. That was the only thing I thought straight away, because if something comes of that now, and he was absolutely knackered on the run in, and I know like blood rushes to your head, and James was trying to get him home and just didn't do enough. You wouldn't be surprised if a couple of weeks out before Cheltenham you get the Jonbon's not going. We found, you know, a minor injury, setback. And then the lads, like we all have mates in the pub who were doing the doubles, each way doubles, account closers yesterday, which were Jonbon at 4s and Stateman at 9 to 2. Right, each way doubles, hoping that one Nicky Henderson horse doesn't go and the other one does go. So it was, yeah. Well, it's. I was a little bit sad, but you know the Irish lads were on going. Well, you would never won anyway at Cheltenham, so I don't think he's getting a bigger price if you fancy it.
That's true. That is true. Out to 7 to 2 now. Jonbon. It takes us on to the champion hurdle, championship mares hurdle, really, because obviously Lossiemouth. Wow, how impressive was she? Into 4 to 5 now for the mares hurdle, but there's a piece of me that really wants to see her go for the champion. I know Richie's come out and said, no, she's going mares. She'll definitely go in the mares. But we've got to have some competition at Constitution Hill. And the way she won, surely, in a pursuit of £7, she's an honourable contender against him, isn't she, Frankie?
Paul Townend looked like Ryan Moore coming up the straight there. Like a flat jockey just sat on the back of her. It was a proper performance, wasn't it? I think what's frustrating about this is probably most people, or nearly all people, will agree that she's going to be seen to best effect over 2 miles on quickish ground. We don't know what ground we'll get, but we're not going to see her at her best in the mares over 2.5. We don't think, but she might still win it, which is a bit frustrating because if she just does enough to win the mares and doesn't look as good over 2.5 and, you know, as flashy as she did at the weekend, I'd prefer her to run her absolute best over 2, even if she came second to Constitution Hill. And it certainly would make the race more exciting. It would give us a little bit more to talk about. We'd now be questioning, can she come second and beat Stateman? Can she serve it up to Constitution Hill? What's the pace going to be like? You know, can she go with the pace of Constitution Hill? Because she does have a great turn of foot. Lots to talk about if she went there, but I just don't think she will. And I think they've got a horse that can win a Cheltenham Festival. So go to the mares, and she's young enough to do that and then go and have a crack at the champion next year. So I think she'll go to the mares. 2.5 furlongs, I don't think suits her. She's a speedster.
I'm in the same camp. I mean, do we start the campaign now, Joel? Get Lossiemouth to the champion?
Yeah, I think so. And the good thing is it's Willie Mullins, but they were very adamant they wouldn't go to champion hurdle. And Ruby explained it really well about the 5-year-olds and whatever and doing. And then somebody said to Ruby something like, is she the next Annie Power? Well, she could be, but what, you fall off at the last when everyone's waiting to win 10 grand? You know, that's what he's going to be remembered for. Not the best of all time at Cheltenham. He's the one who fell off Annie Power, and every single person, where it was the last leg of their ACCA, won it, all the good things that year. I'd love to see her go for the champion hurdle. And also at this point, you know, Constitution Hill, we haven't seen him. You know, is once you start seeing the drift, and a few hours later, I just yeah, I was so impressed by Lossiemouth. I mean, I watched it from my sofa. I mean, I don't know where Frankie watched it from. I mean, I don't know if he's got any intel or inside information or anything like that. I sat with my kids watching it on telly, going, "Oh, look, that's a nice horse, isn't it, Frankie? Where were you?"
Sandwich between Richie and the racing manager.
Hey!
To be fair, obviously you've seen it on the telly before when Richie's kind of not watching. There was that clip of him at Ascot, wasn't there? And they were stood. Joe was facing the track and he was facing Joe, and he's going, how's she getting that? How's she getting that? All the way around, getting a commentary from Joe, and then turns around once she's over the last. And to be fair to him, he's probably stood there for the next 20 minutes doing selfies, shaking hands, people were coming and saying hello, you know, just out on the hill of Cheltenham, nowhere fancy. He was a great sport and was enjoying himself, so as he should be. Yeah, I mean, they'll want to go and pick up a festival winner, won't they? They'll want to go mares hurdle.
Yeah, just as far as the sport goes, I wanted to go champions. What did we think of Love Envoir, by the way? 14s now, maybe 12, something like that, to get to the place.
Decent run, I thought. Like
I did.
For how good Lossiemouth was, for how quick they go over 2, you know, as a proper turn of foot, no real chance to show her staying ability. I thought it was a decent run. I think she'll be in the places over 2.5.
That's what I thought. I mean, you know, the Lossiemouth stays fit. We're just going to get shorter and shorter and shorter until he does the old Richie switchy and sticks it in champion hurdle when everyone's on at 1 to 7. But I thought L'Envoi, especially after that, run last year behind Honeysuckle, and gave us a fright. 14s, I think, is probably a lovely little each way bet. I can't see him being out the frame.
Yeah, and drifting the market as well, didn't she, on Saturday? So maybe more to come. I mentioned the Mayor's Hurdle with obviously Lossiemouth, but he has got an able deputy should she switch, please God, with Ashroe Diamond, who dotted up at Doncaster, Joel.
Yeah, funny one, this 1-6. It was all about the Danny and Paddy show, and the top two in the market were flip-flopping favourites, weren't they? And Ashroe Diamond won as she likes. I thought that was very, very impressive. And we were looking at Wodhooh, and I think 3 out. I was counting the money here. I was counting the money at 5-1, the JP colours. And
Under control, you mean?
Under control, yeah. Sorry, not Wodhooh. Under control. See, JP's got all of these horses again under control. It just, every JP horse I backed this weekend didn't do it for me. Just. No, Ashroe Diamond, going back to your point, won impressively.
So what's a funny, like, well, not a funny angle here, but did Gardamarso run her race? Is she probably is better over 2.5? How good is Ashroe Diamond if Gardamarso ran a true race and she got relatively close to Lossiemouth? Actually, did she beat Lossiemouth? I know that.
Well, she did. I mean, that
race when it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But
that was when he stuck there, stuck on the inside, and it was yeah.
But she was still second to her in the triumph, wasn't she?
Yeah,
and not by a long way. And Ashroe Diamond, loved it going myself,
you might as well run the Mayor's Hurdle on the Clisutton Gallops, don't you?
What's that?
You might as well run the Mayor's Hurdle on the Clisutton Gallops.
yeah, those three
can
sort it out for themselves. But if Gardamarso ran her true race at Donny and she got relatively close to Lossiemouth last year, if you assume they're both progressing nicely, then Ashroe Diamond has put in a serious performance there.
Yeah, certainly has. Right, that's the championship races done with. Then don't forget, like, subscribe, and we invite you to post your comments below whether you agree or disagree with us, and we'll pick out some of the best. Also, give us your thoughts as well on what is going to happen. Well, what we just talked about from the Mullins camp out of Cheltenham. Will there be a few switcheroos going on? Let's just talk about the Stayers Hurdle then, because we saw the Cleve and Noble Yeats. Well, shot Bambi, Joel, just in Paisley Park.
Yeah, the money, we talked about this on Friday and being the money horse, and I could not fancy this, but Emmett Mullins, the money, Grand National winner from a couple of years ago, I didn't see this at all, and I gave you a 25-1 shot that was out the back of the telly. It was a whole muddling race, wasn't it? And Paisley Park again, we know the run style now. Looks beaten, then stays on, and did again. But is that 3 seconds now in a row in this year for Paisley Park? But if you look at that Stayers Hurdle and you want to look at it, Paisley Park at 25-1. You know it's going to run it. He is coming up 25 years old, staying on. Do you not just keep stupid price, isn't it? 'Cause it's not going to be that on the day. Noble Yeats would go to the Grand National, I'm presuming, but with like 77 stone on his back.
Yeah, well, that's what he said, in it? Stayers and then Grand National. 12-1 for the Stayers Hurdle, though. I mean, it's hard to go twice to Cheltenham and then the National, such big occasions, Frankie, and I assume the National would be the target, as you say. But, he did nothing wrong, and he's like Paisley Park. He looked beaten, didn't he, coming down the hill towards 2 out, and then he just, the whole complexion of the race changed in the end, and a strong leader as well, his first try of the trip, worth a mention, though he's not in the Stayers.
Yeah, it was funny. He did look beat, I thought. And I think if that is his running style at the festival, then I don't think he'll be able to make that ground back up. He managed to get back up because of his staying ability, and maybe that those that were on the front slowed a touch and he could catch them. I think when you have a better class of horse in there like Wodhooh, if you do kind of hit that flat spot and have to really start battling earlier than you'd like, I'm sure that those classier, you wouldn't be able to reel them back in. So I think he's made use of not an average field by any means, like a decent enough field, but one that we've kind of been seeing all year, haven't we, with Paisley and Dasher, and that's kind of set the standard over here. And I think that he's just managed to get the better of a field like that, but I don't think he'd do it at the festival. I've been with Wodhooh from the start of the season, really, haven't I? I think he's top class. So
yeah, it does have a wide open field to it. Hopefully, get a decent field as well, a competitive contest on the day. Also on the Thursday will be the Turners Novices Chase, where Ginny's Destiny did his claims no harm with a third successive course and distance win from the front again under Harry Cobden, trying to emulate Stage Star, who won this race 12 months ago and went on to win the Turners. Frankie, halved in price to 8. Would he be a player? I'm going to ask Joel because I know it's all about Gaelic Warrior, but Ginny's Destiny, serve it up to him.
Yeah, no, no. I've got the trifecta on this race. Like Gaelic Warrior, you can have your distance bet, right? Whatever. Whether it jumps right, left, it can give him a mile start. It doesn't make any difference. On the day, I'll be playing there as well. Gaelic Warrior beats Facile Vega, beats Founder 50. You heard it here first on the, 28th, 29th, 29th of June or July or wherever we are, January. Gaelic Warrior just wins this, and you're looking for places. I think Facile Vega, as we mention every week, cut and paste. Willie Mullins is having a right good time with this horse. As far as, look, you will win.
He'll go to the Arco, won't he?
What?
Facile Vega.
Oh, don't start with this again. It was Willie Mullins, isn't it? I've got Willie Mullins. I've got Facile Vega now down for the Turners again. I've found the first 3. Gaelic Warrior to beat Facile Vega to beat Founder 50.
No, that's that. You just need to swap Gaelic Warrior for Marine National, and you've got the Arco 1, 2, 3.
Do you know what? You'll be laughing on the other side of that beautiful face come mid-March. Tell you.
Which was great, but it was Ginny's Destiny we were talking about.
Oh yeah, Ginny's Destiny at 8-1. Is it a play for me? No, it's not. Won very impressively at the weekend, but Gaelic Warrior will win.
There you are, Frankie. Gaelic Warrior win despite jumping over the marquee. He goes that far right into the home straight.
Ginny's Destiny jumped really well, didn't he? And if gets his own way on the front, which Harry will try and do again, you would like to think we'll be in the top 3 anyway, because if Harry can dictate the pace, then he's going to be there come the finish. Really, it's going to be a case of who's good enough to go past him. So I suppose you probably, when they're turning for home, if anything else wants to go quicker and do it their own way, then crack on. But if Ginny's Destiny can jump round and basically do a repeat of Stage Star, that would be the exact tactics, won't it? Then in with a chance. Ginny's Destiny doesn't scream out as good as Stage Star last year. They'll follow the same route, and Stage Star won that and won the Turners. I don't know if it was the strongest Turners either, and I don't think Ginny's Destiny I would rank as highly as I probably did Stage Star going into the festival. But the talking point for me on that is Grey Dawning. How good's he to come back from that terrible fall over potentially an inadequate trip to get within the length of Ginny's Destiny, giving away weight, who's now 8-1 for the Turners and just won that race, carrying 12 stone at the weekend. It's a proper bit of form, isn't it? So Grey Dawning, that is one of my English hopes, not for the Turners, obviously, for the Brown Advisory, the 3 miler, but a nice form boost for Grey Dawning.
I'll stick with you, Frankie. We'll talk about Jeriko de Reponet. I know it's a horse that you obviously like. You want it at a nice price. He's out to 7-1 despite winning at Doncaster. But to me, this is similar to Jonbon in his Supreme year because he had to go to Haydock and battle to victory. And it just showed that he's not a pretty boy winning on the bridle. He can knuckle down and battle it out. And, I was quite pleased with that.
It's a fair point. I forgot about Jonbon having that sticky race at Haydock. I don't know. You get excited when they're stylish, but then you get people that grab them and say, oh, they beat nothing, wait till the Supreme. And then you get races like this where they get into a battle and they still win. And we all go, well, I don't know anymore. I think I'd liked it to be a bit of a better field. Over in Ireland, you have all these novice hurdlers lining up in Grade 1s against each other. And you get a good mix of proper horses. And if one gets in a battle there, you think, okay, fair enough. At Dysart on Saturday, I don't think it was the best race. I know it's a Supreme trial in a Grade 2, but I don't know. I'd like to have seen him maybe battle, but then win it a bit more decisively. I'm not going mad about it, and it doesn't look like the Supreme win off the back of Saturday for me.
No, I get that, but for me, I don't think he ever looked like getting beat, Joel. They get pulling out, and I thought it was a brave battle. All right, the form might not amount to Supreme standard, but let's say at least he can get his hooves dirty.
No, I completely agree with you. It's Frankie told us about 25-1. It was great into 7s now, or back out to 7s. Was it 3 out of 3 now? Is that 3 out of 3?
Yeah.
And you look and you go, yeah, great, but that's not. Just looking at the bare bones of it. And also, it's just not inspiring. But if it won on bridle, we go, what's it beat? Just like what Frankie says, and then he turns up at Cheltenham, and you just go, oh, well, wasn't as good as we thought. Because we'll be honest with us, we're getting our asses handed to us at every point. Imagine me, you, and Frankie, you've got a horse, and it wins a few races, and we get to Cheltenham, and then the Irish just come along and go, you ain't that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where we are at the minute, and I'm staying British. And I don't know why I'm doing it every single time, every weekend now. It's just the money horses and the Irish horses for me. So I wasn't too impressed.
That leads me nicely on to a British horse then that's similar to what you're saying, keeps winning and winning, and how good is he going to be? Is Gidleigh Park, who another one who had to get down and dirty to beat Lucky Place in the Classic, the final race on Trials Day. Although he won, he was eased out to 9-1, but he looks best of the British for the Bear in Bingham.
Yeah, 100% looks best the British. And I watched that and I thought he was beat 3 or 4 times. And I really loved the grinding win. And the jock got off and said, I'm really pleased that it's at a race, like a proper race, so we know what he can do and it's not taking a lot out of him straight to Cheltenham. And that was one of the shorties that we thought was worth taking on at the weekend. But obviously wasn't. So it was there. And again, this is probably saying complete opposite to Jeriko de Reponet. That got into a battle and really stuck his head out. And again, I was impressed this weekend. And Jock definitely was.
Frankie, did you stay for the last, or did you really dial one of them 18 phone numbers you've been handed?
Rich Richie wants to see you in just a thong with his mullet.
I had a few quid on in the end, actually. I know we said that he was one of the ones out of the shorties to take on, but I ended up backing him on course. He is massive. Like, you see it on the TV, but when you see it in the flesh, that horse is ginormous. And you're going, don't say it. Get him over a fence. Back him for next year. like the Ballymore does have some speed to it. I know it's 2.5, but it's, just because it's not the Supreme doesn't mean there's no speed in it. And he's a big lump, isn't he? And I think he'll be done for speed in the Ballymore from better horses, if I'm honest. I think back in for the Brown Advisory next year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. A lot of horses have won that and come back to win champions, haven't they? So you're right, doesn't it?
Two things, because I say when you watch it, I was watching the final race with Mrs. on the sofa. When she tries to get interested, I'm trying to get her to sit down and watch the Man United games and point out what everyone's doing and whatever. And two things at the weekend. She said that horse that won. Why is he bigger than the rest? Surely that's not fair. And they were all talking about what she heard as the Ballymore.
Michael Ballymore.
No, it's not the Michael Ballymore race, it's the Ballymore. Well, what's that then? Oh, don't worry about it. As I'm like this.
That's a whole different type of race. Let's move on to the juveniles then, because we had a bit of an upset. Obviously, it was well backed in the end. Sir Gino beating Burdett Road in the trial. I mean, 6-4 now for the Triumph is an absolute joke, considering what's to come this weekend. I would not touch that with a barge pole. He was impressive. He jumped a lot better than he did at Kempton. Is that the Burdett Road flame out, or he was keen again? Very keen, like he was a Huntingdon. He settled beautifully when he won. Was it not quick enough? He was still pulling Harry Cobden's arms out coming down the hill, Joel.
Yeah, it was a 10-length win, wasn't it, for Sir Gino? And, much more impressed than previous times. But I backed Burdett Road. I think went off slight favourite, didn't it? Keen. Where's my notes? Keen. It was going easily, but it wasn't massively knocked around, was it?
He accepted it.
It was right. Okay, there's no. If you look at the Racing Post comments and you hadn't seen the race, no match for winner, and he didn't take a pull, but had the look around and went here with second. So with a bit of effort in there, probably would have got second by 5 lengths or something like that. There's no point doing any of that. So with the drift on Burdett Road and compared to the 6-4, what is Burdett Road now? What price can you see? 8-1 each way. But I'd be much happier to take that as opposed to the 6-4 on Sir Gino with just the one place. I think that was a serious overreaction from your trading lot.
I tend to agree. I'd say he was keen. I mean, he's been smashed 10 lengths, but Harry Cobden did take it easy on it when he was beaten. And if they do get a decent pace and obviously good ground in the Triumph, then I still think he's got a chance. He has to settle there, Frankie. He has to settle. He was pulling his arms out, which he didn't do in the November meeting.
Yeah, he finished like a horse that had ruined his race early on, didn't he? You know, he didn't show the turn of foot that he did when he won, and that is because of what he did early on. I think some people might argue it's because Gino was going 2-1 in front, but yeah, I think he blew his race early on. To get these in quickly, because we'll talk about it all day, but DRF this weekend, big clues with Storm Heart should run, and then one to look out for. Currently 16-1, Mansborough. JP bought it, hasn't been seen yet since joining Willie Mullins. It's entered and hopefully will run on Saturday at the DRF, and it's supposed to be half decent. Mansborough.
Yeah, David in a grade one, it'll have to be. What about Wodhooh going along?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Gordon was being coy, but not like him not to give much away. But I spoke to him after that horse won it at Newbury, and I got the impression they were just having a load of fun with it. It was a real good group of owners that came to Newbury. They know they've got a decent one, but I don't think they've got a top class one. They don't mind coming over to England. They like their racing. They're a good group. I think they're. He said is it really straightforward horse at home. And I think they're just picking up prize money where they can, especially over in England, because they like the crack. I don't think it's a Cheltenham Festival horse. I think it's a decent horse that they're campaigning nicely. It's really straightforward. And if it keeps winning, happy days.
I agree. And if you look at that, you're saying that's not a triumph horse. If it was, the right two horses were behind as well. You know, it wasn't just the egg and spoon race when you look at it. Max of Stars in second, and Green Sky of Joseph O'Brien's back in third. But yeah, I think they're having a lot of fun. Mark Walsh got to spend a day in Doncaster, which is always an amazing time. When you get out of that train station, it's beautiful.
Right. Quick chat about the Mares Novice Hurdle. We had a very impressive winner away from Donny and Cheltenham, and Jay de Grugy, another one for Willie Mullins at the weekend. Sauntered to success. Now joint favourite with Dysart Enos, who didn't have to too much, were in long odds on at Donny on Sunday. So the front two in the market we saw this weekend. If it was a toss of a coin, Joel, which one would you want?
I wouldn't. I mean, I looked at this, and Dysart Enos. Again, what do you get from that at the weekend? It was you all got to do what you've got to do, haven't you? And this whole race doesn't really give me any inspiration at all. The Mares Novice, I'll sit out of it instead of talking for 5 minutes about stuff. I'm actually not massively interested in both. One did what it should do, and the other one was a Willie Mullins horse, so it could go anywhere.
Go on, Joel. This is one for the British. Dysart Enos.
A month ago we talked about Dysart Enos, and you were very upbeat about her, and now
yeah, I was, but I'm trying to look at my championship races now. I'm trying to get in, you know, me trifectas and me tricasts and me whatever. I was looking at this, and
life change.
My opinion hasn't changed. You know, back Dysart Enos. I don't know what price we got. It was maybe 6-1 or something like that, maybe. But I was just doing it out of something to talk about and whatever. Didn't out at the weekend that would put me off or put me on. You know, it was more like a racecourse gallop, wasn't it? Just a little bit of schooling in public.
She's good. She can win. Fergal's first festival winner.
Well, yeah. Well, I think also Paddy hasn't. Two things this week. Didn't Paddy say that they only ride for Fergal now because he doesn't want to end up in the back of an ambulance for anybody else? And secondly, Paddy's not had a winner. I think it was at Cheltenham since 2010. Was it?
Wow.
Something like that.
Imperial Commander.
Yeah, but that was 2009, maybe. Have a look. Come on, think
Festival,
about it. 2010.
Festival winner, yeah. Interesting. Right. Okay. The next instalment then of our Antepost portfolios. Joel's got the drum roll. Go on, then I'll let you go first this week.
And we're going in the champion bumper. Because we've not had a go yet. Hey?
I knew it wouldn't be long.
Yeah. Champion bumper. I've put it off and put it off and put it off. The right colours, the right trainer. I don't think they know how good it is. It's entered Saturday at Leopardstown, and if it hacks up at the DRF, you'll be getting quarter of the price because that's what happens in bumpers in Ireland. Anything wins. I'm going for Joystick at 20-1. That was available this morning. I don't know what price you are now. Joystick, champion bumper, Willie Mullins, Rich Ritchie. It runs on Saturday in the bumper at Leopardstown, DRF. And I'll go with that. We had the word for it a few weeks ago, and I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. That 20-1 won't be there if it hacks up at the weekend, but it'll be triple the price if it doesn't. So it's all about getting the value. Joystick and the champion bumper.
Frankie?
Before that, Joel, we're not impressed with Jasmine something?
Come on, break it down.
Jasmine DeVoe. That looks like a champion bumper winner, I thought. Very good.
Yeah, but what price is it? And there's
I think favourite now.
yeah. And there's Maureen in there. We don't know, that might turn out to be, half decent or no good. You don't want what's being behind, but visually looks absolutely fantastic. But I just thought, look, come on, let's have a little go. Joystick 20-1. So come on, what's yours?
Anyway, this is the last week of messing around with big prices. Otherwise, I'm going to.
Oh, here we go. Constitution Hill if he runs.
Falls apart. So we're going for one more long shot before I start getting stuck into the favourites of a few races. But Orcan Risque in the county hurdle. I've backed this horse far too many times, so maybe you don't want to follow me in. But last year, before the festival at Newbury, won the Betfred hurdle, beating Filey Bay, who was well backed and gambled on off a mark of 138. That put him up to 147 when he went to Cheltenham. Didn't like the ground, didn't run his race. This year, ran poorly over fences. Pre-festival, not going to Newbury, went to Kempton over 2 miles 5, which was not the trip. Finished pretty much last place. Back down to a mark of 137 again. That he won that race, that handicap at Newbury last year. We need better ground. He's well weighted. He's getting older. They're having their last crack. Orcan Risque for the county.
One of the big prices then. I'm going to go for one that ran at the weekend and kind of under the radar, I think. And I mentioned it in the punters guide. That was Fugitive, who was sticking on, couldn't go the pace at all, could not lay up with Elixir, the Nutz, Jonbon et al. In the Clarence House. But he stuck on for third, which just enhances his course record. Back over 2.5 miles. And a race with no Ahoy now, and the Ryanair maybe just becoming a little bit more open than we expect. 20-1. I think he'll do for me each way in the Ryanair. I think he's got a decent chance of certainly hitting the frame. So I think he went under the radar, his run, with everyone talking about Jonbon's mistake. He just stayed on nice into third and back over 2.5 miles back on that course. I think he could go very well indeed. So there are 3 decent prices then. Maybe a little each way Trixie ahead of the festival. And Frankie says he'll be in these favourites from now on in. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and please comment as well whether you agree or if you disagree. Tell us what you like as we get ever closer to those famous 4 days on the turf at Prestbury Park. This weekend, of course, Dublin Racing Festival. Frankie will be there. Me and Joel will be watching. We'll get all the action and provide you with our tips this weekend. And also, Frankie, you're doing Musselburgh as well, Scottish Trials Day.
Yeah, big weekends racing. And after this weekend, we would have had the big Trials Day in England, the big Trials Day in Ireland. So I'll do a big wrap up on social media, get everybody's shouts in, let us know what you think after both those big weekends, because we've got all the major clues, and then we'll discuss them on the following show on the Monday after the DRF, because there will be plenty to talk about. And as you said, Matt, I'll be getting stuck into some favourites after the pecking order's been worked out.
This is it now, isn't it? This is it now. After this weekend, this is where you've really got to start, the homework and the messing about and doing, well, I might have that. I've got to slip on with 20-1 here and 5-1 here and whatever. After the Dublin Racing Festival, this is where everything takes shape and you go, right, we're on. We're going Barbados, lads.
Or Bognor.
Yeah, or Bridlington.
Right, yeah, no, please comment and say, give us your thoughts, and we'll discuss some of them, whether we like, or we'll pick them apart on next Monday's show. Brilliant weekend of racing there. Join us Friday for the Punters Guide. We'll be back in this week. The very best of luck.